This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration. Gotta be kidding me.
Just keep battling. And just keep battling. And keep battling. Okay, calm down.
Okay.
Yeah, Rosie.
Very funny. Very funny.
Hey, who is Johnny King?
It is Vivaldi.
Hey, who is Johnny King?
It is Rachmaninoff.
I know nothing. Nothing.
Some kind of nasty.
Hey, Mo!
He can stick it up your butt.
Correct. Yo, what up, Tennessee?
We are going to win this election for Paul Wellstone. We are going to win this election for Paul Wellstone. We are going to win this election for Paul Wellstone.
Wilbur, you don't know nothing.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Should turn on my mic. Unprepared, uninformed, unapologetic. That's what we are. The Grum begins in 5, actually 3. The 5 sounds like more than 4, 2, 1. Greetings, good afternoon, and ack, and dak, act to you and yours. I'm the common man, Dan Cole, radio dinosaur, La Brea, Tarpid, cold, dead, rigor mortis, laden, or at least fossilized. Here until 2, truncated version, head coach, soon to be, big game world champion, Minnesota Vikings, about 1:15 or so. The legendary Mark Rosen will join us at about 2 o'clock. Quarterback controversy continues to swirl. The Wild finally get off the schneid. I hope I didn't say something I'm not supposed to. Maybe that's politically incorrect nowadays. They beat the New York Rangers.
What is a schneid?
The World Series is all set. It's the soon-to-be World Series champion L.A. Dodgers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. I wonder if Rosen will root for Toronto like he did Edmonton because he likes Canadian teams. Gophers, others receiving votes. Minnesota Timberwolves begin their season tomorrow night against Portland. With all those topics to get to, I'm not sure where to begin, so let's spin the wheel of topics.
Wheel of Topics!
Yeah, well, if it comes up on Common Man Golf Game, which I don't forget will because it doesn't happen very often.
Commons golf game.
I did play. Why? The game is played outdoors. I played in...
What did you shoot today?
I played in I wouldn't call it a steady rain. It didn't start to rain until the back nine, which was really the front nine, because I played the front nine twice. I shot 82.
Where'd we play?
Prospect had Wedgwood and Woodbury.
Where'd you hit it on one?
Well, right up the gut.
Second shot?
I hit a 7-iron onto the green.
Then what?
I two-putted 4, not par.
Incredible.
You know what I did, actually? I played the front twice, and I got identical scores in the ball. Each shot went almost exactly where they did on the first time around. I went par, bogey, 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 par, par, bogey, par. On 7 the second time. Now, you're familiar with Prestwick, right?
Yeah.
So again, for the second time today, I pushed my tee shot over to the right where the maintenance building is. This time I got all...
I've been there.
This time I got all the way down to where the little grassy swale is. And I occasionally try this, and I decided to. There's a little alley between out of bounds right and trees left where you can just hit a straight shot all the way down the right side, so that you avoid all the trees on the left, and then you've got to look at the green, even though you might have trees in front of you. I hit a perfect 6-iron down that little alley there and flipped a wedge up to about 2 feet and made the putt for par. But then I doubled 9, but it was okay. I'm in the process of rebuilding my swing. I think I've told you that before. I'm now, instead of doing a sway turn, I'm doing strictly a turn. It's a work in progress. But when I do hit the ball well, it goes farther, it goes straighter. Sometimes I even draw it. So it's the first day of the rest of my life. So I was very excited about it. And season is about to come to a close, I think, Tenneby. I mean, it's possible we could play into early November, mid-November, even late November. Sometimes we play into December. We'll just have to wait and see if that is the case. I wanted to direct your attention, and let me see if I can find it, because I had it right on the top of my... You might want to hit the music. I thought I had it on the top of my prep pack, which wasn't very thick today, Tenneby. I'm very disappointed in you. It was basically a complaint.
Okay.
A complaint against the program director, and I guess indirectly, a complaint against you as well.
Okay. Complaining the program director by airing the Tenney Fitzgerald?
Well, yeah, I guess is basically what they actually said. This was sent to Chad Abbott, and oftentimes Chad Abbott will get emails from listeners. Generally, they're complaints. Very rarely does he receive compliments in regards to the Grum. But this came from, I don't know who it, right? I'll just leave his name out. His name is Joe. And he writes, wow, off of a bye week in Commons where? Thought Vikings were your fans' number one listeners. Great management decision. So he thought on Thursday and Friday I should have been here with the Vikings coming off a bye week, because nobody's more insightful and plugged into the Vikings than I am, right? And, I took it as a compliment and a complaint, that he would like to have had me there. But I did respond to him like I always do, and I said, it's faith, family, fairways, frequency, and football in that order. Yeah. And so baby brother Peter, who I created from my loins, my youngest boy, he goes to The Ohio State University, and he came back for fall break. And I wanted to spend time with my son.
Oh.
And so that's where the faith, family, and then he likes to golf, so we combined family and fairways is what we did. And so I appreciate that he wanted me on the air, that he must enjoy my insight into the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. But in Tenneby, for you, I think it's faith, family, face-offs than frequency, right? Because hockey is kind of your sport. Does fairways even come before? Well, not very frequently because you wish it
I'd
did.
like to place that higher.
Yeah, but it's not. But so there are certain things that you get to a certain stage in your life, they're just more important. I'm very secure in where I've been, where I'm going, where I'm at. I just signed I didn't even realize they slipped in a third year on me, and I didn't even realize it. I thought it was a 2-year deal. And I think that'll be it for me today. I'm about to do what a lot of radio guys have done in this town over the years. They'll announce their retirement like 5 years before they're going to. I'm retiring in 5. Okay, well, get back to us when you get to your 4.5 years or 4 years, 8 months into your retirement year. Let us know. No need to tell us now. But I think I'm about to make the announcement. I'm going to retire. My final day on the air. Oh my gosh, will be December 31st.
Could we throw like 4 different retirement parties for you?
They don't,
and then you show back up to work somewhere else the next day.
They don't throw parties for people that aren't involved with the Power Trip Morning Show.
There's that.
They only do that for the Power Trip Morning Show. Then I received another email to comment at KFAN.com, and I didn't print it because I'm lazy. And that was the topic. It said, "Are you going to talk about the Vikings quarterback controversy again?" I'm paraphrasing because I didn't print it because I was lazy. He said, "Are you going to talk about the Vikings quarterback controversy again today? You keep bringing up the same old points. There are other topics to talk about in regards to this team. You truly are lazy." That's what he said. You truly are lazy. And I sent back a reply, and all it said was, "Duh."
I always love that one.
Yeah, I'm uninformed, unprepared. I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Why do you think we do list radio all the time? List radio is lazy radio. Look.
And you are going to bring up the same topic.
And I'm going to bring up the same topic. Though I think now Mike Florio, and he's just a rabble rouser. He just throws things. And I like it though. It's fun. He and I are sort of kind of cut from the same cloth where you'll just throw stuff out there. He thinks there's a distinct possibility that Max Brosmer might start because Wentz is still nursing a really bad shoulder. Let's face it, he hasn't played particularly well. He's been okay in spots. He's been brutal in others. And we don't think JJ is going to be ready, so maybe Max Brosmer would get the nod. I don't know if we'll find out any more about the quarterback situation in the next few minutes because we're about to take a break, and the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings is scheduled to address the media live from TCO Performance Center, a.k.a. the new Winter Park. That's on the other side of the break right now, though. Tennessee has a keyword to try to put in our national cash contest.
Yeah, the fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks for their national cash contest. Just enter the keyword $. At KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. The keyword is $. Enter now at KFAN.com. Mark your calendars. Boston punk legends, Dropkick Murphys.
I like the nightlife, baby. Ba, 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 ba.
Are set to hit the Palace Theater on March 6th.
She's my best friend's girlfriend, and she used to be mine.
Don't miss out. Tickets are on sale now.
Who's gonna drive you home tonight?
Get the full details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is Tennessee. We're awaiting the arrival of the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. I'm assuming somebody will ask who's going to start at quarterback, and I don't know how he'll react. If you'll remember last week, he was, during the Wednesday news conference, he said something. It's the same answer I had for you 2 days ago or yesterday or the day before. I don't know, Tennessee, who.
I feel like he's not going to answer because I feel like he's hiding behind the injuries on both. I'll get, If J.J. McCarthy was limited yesterday in practice, that would lead me to believe he ain't playing.
He was limited. He was Mr. He was Mr. Limited is what he was. And I don't think Brosmer could do any worse than either of those guys, really, to be honest with you. So, if they did go with it, that at least that would make it interesting just to see. We know what we got with Wentz. he'll make some plays and he'll make some blunders. That's who he is, and that's sort of the situation they're in when Wentz is in the game. I mean, he put together a great drive 2 weeks ago and completed 9 of 9, and they won a game they needed to win to get to 3-2. And then this past week, he made a handful of plays, but he made more blunders than he did make good plays. He had the pick six, he had the intentional grounding, missed a couple of other throws. He made a couple of plays, but certainly not enough for the team to win the game. Last night, Tennessee, the Lions, when they used to call Seattle's defense the Legion of Doom?
Yes.
They're calling Detroit's defense the Legion of Whom? Because they were playing guys nobody's ever seen before. Deuce and I are looking at each other and goes, who's this guy? Where'd they get that guy? When did this guy get a job with the club? They didn't have any of their original 4 starting defensive backs in the lineup last night. Yet the Lions defense harassed and harangued Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay last night. And, I mean, they threw up a stat before the game started. They showed Baker warming up. And it said, I think, on Monday night games, he's like 1-6. And in prime time games, he's like 4-13. I mean, they're really awful numbers. And you know me, I rolled my eyes, I shrugged my shoulders and shook my head and said, that's to me just coincidental. I mean, just because he's not performed well on Monday nights in the past doesn't mean that doesn't mean he's going to perform poorly again. But he sure didn't. Do you remember Darnold last year against Detroit when he threw it over the head by?
Yeah. He
was Josh Freeman like. He was throwing the ball over the head as that's what Baker Mayfield did last night. I bet he had no less than a half a dozen overthrows where he had players open. He had them in the seams. He had them between defensive backs, and he just overthrew them. I mean, he was his own worst enemy. I'm not sure they would have won had they completed those passes, but it sure would have helped. But Detroit's defense, with a bunch of no-name players in the secondary, played very well last night. Gibbs is the best running back in pro football. And everybody can have their own opinion. There's nobody better. If you watched him last night, he's the
most electric.
He makes people miss. Is there a faster running back in pro football once he gets out of the open field? I don't think there is. What do they call that when they get to the second level? Is that what they call that? Isn't that the phrase they use? He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can block a little bit. He had a key block last night on a blitz. I mean, the kid can flat out play. And it
reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog.
He does.
In terms of how quick he is and the speed he runs with.
And the other guy in the backfield kind of reminds me of that Knuckles character.
Yes, I would agree.
Matter of fact, I'd call him Sonic and Knuckles is what I would do. Their offensive line was good. They persevered through injuries. I thought it was going to be, as a matter of fact, Deuce was telling me that like the over-under was like 51.5 because they thought it was going to be a shootout. And I get that because Tampa Bay's been scoring. Detroit's averages, it seems like 30, 35 points a game. And but the Kitties win. So now the Vikings find themselves sitting at the bottom of the division. The Packers are 4-1-1. So they are in first place by winning percentage. Kitties are 5-2, and they have a bye now. So that was a big win for Detroit. They go into the bye, and then they get Minnesota at Pontiac 2 weeks from now after the bye week. Chicago's won 4 in a row. Now they haven't beaten a whole. It's not like they've beaten the best teams in the league, but you beat the teams when they put them in front of you. They're 4-2, and the Vikings are now 3-3. Got to play the Chargers, who.
All I know is if the Vikings win 2 in a row, we're mathematically ahead of the Detroit Lions in the standings.
That is correct. What is the Chargers? What's their record now? Are they?
It's gone south.
Are they 4-3? They played 7 games, or is that wrong? Because they've only played 6. Or have some teams played 7 games? Yeah, some teams have played 7. I think they're 4-3.
They're 4-3.
And weren't they 4-1? Or were they even 4-0?
They were 3-0.
They were 3-0.
Then they were 3-2. Then they barely got by the Dolphins a week ago.
Right.
And then lost to the Colts yesterday.
So they don't seem, if you remember, that's the beauty of the league, I guess, the beauty and the bane of it. You look at the season. I remember when it was started, we looked at the schedule and said, the Vikings need to make hay during these first few games because the schedule really gets tougher. Well, I don't know. Philadelphia now, we lost, but Philadelphia was coming off 2 consecutive losses when we faced them. The Chargers, they're 1-3 in their last 4 games. Detroit now is, there was another statistic they had for the Kitties last night. They've not lost 2 games in a row since like 2002. They might lose, but they win the next week. They don't. The Kitties.
You said, I thought you said 2002. You meant 2022?
2022, I'm sorry. When they lose, they rebound and win a game. And that's obviously a sign of a good football team that, they don't let losses build and they don't go into losing streaks. So, I went in with, now I don't know. I was a big Mayfield guy. He was being talked about as, at this point in the season, again, it's always early. It's the week 1 overreaction and week 2 overreaction, all these overreactions we have, right? But, there was talk that, he was at, about a third of the way through the season, he was the front runner for the MVP award. He was playing so well. And last night, he just was not good at all. And then they lost. Who's there? Is it Evans?
Mike Evans,
Mike Evans, he's gone for.
They've had a lot of wide receiver injuries.
Yeah, well, they were missing 2 guys.
They started the season without Chris Godwin. Jalen McMillan got hurt early in the year.
Correct.
Evans has been hurt, and then even Emeka Egbuka, who they got from Ohio State as a rookie.
Yes.
He was kind of questionable going into this game. He ended up playing. And
guess what, Tennessee? We don't feel sorry for other teams.
And they're starting running backs out.
Yes. But we don't feel sorry for teams with injuries because every club goes through them, including the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. We'll take a break. Hopefully the coach will begin at maybe 1:30, but we'll air the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell news conference. Other side of the break, Common Man program on the Fan.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Double 13-14 pastime common. East Tennessee. Mark Rosen joins us just before 2 o'clock. Still awaiting the arrival of the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell. Is weekly day after the game news conference. It'll be 2 days removed from the game. They have a short week to take on the Chargers in San Diego or Los Angeles. That game, you'll hear it right here on the Fan. I'm assuming our coverage begins at 5 and the kickoff about 7:15. I believe it is. Tennessee, the LA Dodgers swept the Milwaukee Brewers 4-0 to advance to the World Series. They'll take on the Toronto Blue Jays, who eliminated Seattle last night. Seattle, now, if I'm not mistaken, is the only current team in Major League Baseball that has not been to a World Series. And I think they had like a lead in the 7th or 8th inning in Game 6 and ended up blowing that lead, and then they lost. They lost last night. But the big story is Ohtani. Tennessee, is it Shohei?
Yes.
Shohei Ohtani. He pitched 6 scoreless innings and had 3 home runs in the game. He's only the 3rd pitcher in Major League Baseball history to hit 3 homers in the game. One guy did it in like 1898. The other guy was in like 1942. Here's KOC.
All good. Good afternoon, guys. Obviously, it's a jammed, packed day for us. Getting a lot of preparation in on a short week. Looking ahead to Thursday night. We know it's going to be here before we know it. We're doing everything we can to turn over our players. We got a great staff to do it, and the players have really, that process began really after the game on Sunday night. We don't officially have full speed practices this week, but end up getting a lot of very, very important on the field work via the walkthrough. we'll have our guys feeling good and ready to go compete. Wanted to give you guys just an update. Earlier this morning, we did put J.J. McCarthy through an on-field workout just to see if he had a chance to make it this week. J.J., the medical staff, myself, we're all kind of encouraged about where he's at and the progress he's making, but he's just not there. And if this was a Sunday game, maybe it would be a little bit of a different story, and we could push it throughout the week and see where he's at towards the end of the week. But really, I look at today almost as the combination of a Wednesday, Thursday, but really it is a Friday on the timeline of coming up on being 48 hours out from the game. So we wanted to have a plan at the quarterback position, and it'll be very similar to last week. Carson will start, Max will be the backup, and JJ will be available in the case of emergency as the third. Like I said, encouraged about where he's at, and very much looking forward to continuing his progression and hopefully having a chance to go next week, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. But also wanted to make note of Aaron Jones' 21-day window opening up today. That'll be something that will happen today, and we'll see where he's at potentially for his availability on Thursday night.
What have you seen from Dallas Turner, both on and off the field, taking on obviously a lot of responsibility with Andy ankle out?
He's had obviously a lot of snaps and some impactful plays. I think we're asking him to do quite a bit, especially in our emphasis of trying to stop the run last week. I thought Dallas was really, really good setting edges against a really physical front. Hard O-line to rush against, especially at the tackle spots, and wanting to try to contain Hurts as much as we could. Maybe limited some of the, creativity of some of the rushes, but the strain, the finish, his use of his, gifts to rush the passer are being used and emphasized, but also growing on a daily basis. So I think Dallas is just going to continue how he can do this week. Fired up to watch him play.
The deep balls you guys gave up, how do you balance you haven't done that in the past?
Yeah.
With the fact that it happened. I mean, you can't completely write it off. How do you balance it?
Yeah, Flo talks about it all the time. One of the main priorities every week is keeping the chunks off the tape, and those big plays, there were some, obviously some huge plays for scores, but it's not just those, it's also the third and long you stop the run, you get them in second and long and then into a third and long, and they were able to make some kind of back-breaking kind of plays to either stay on the field or in some cases, as you said, those long completions. Obviously, you got to look at, is there anything in the makeup of the play, from the call to the technique to the communication, that we could do better at, and then ultimately just continue to trust in the fact that if we continue to do the things defensively that equal good principles for us, we've shown to be able to cause disruption, leads to negativity, and then have chances at turning the football over, because we've just got to find a way to make that part of our DNA, and obviously strain and stress the things that are really important to doing those things that Flo brought here with them, with this defensive philosophy that we've had a lot of success with. But got to keep the chunks off the tape for sure.
What prompted the workout this morning? Just that the walkthrough doesn't have enough to...
Yeah, it's just really what it is I thought, I think I may even have said this on Friday, like I was encouraged by where, he was at coming out of Friday, and then thought he, pregame, got a chance to work with him a little bit Sunday in the official warm-ups, and then I know Josh was able to take him through some things before we got out there officially in uniform, and just wanted to know kind of if he could possibly, be at a good place, and because really we'll go through first, second, and third down today. So just having a plan in place, not only for those guys, but also just knowing, the communication's been really good between JJ, the medical staff, and myself, and just wanting to make sure everybody had clarity going into the week. Short weeks are tough. They are what they are, but we're attacking it and have a lot of confidence in our team to go out to LA and play well. But just more about the clarity and making sure we've got the right plan for the week, while knowing we've got to continue the minute-to-minute daily progression that he's been on, as we still have a lot of football left in the season.
Kevin, when you say JJ's just not there yet, what kinds of thresholds do you still need to see him clear before you say, yeah, he is?
Yeah, it's some of the movements that the reactionary movements within the pocket, being able to use his athleticism to protect himself in the pocket, and then as he's able to work through progressions, I feel really good about the work we've done on the foundation of his fundamentals. That's been pretty evident through the work that he's done, and he's really the commitment to doing that. It's really just about, hey, there's maybe a guy gets edged and I don't really know the movement I'm going to have to make. That's where, he still feels it. And if he doesn't have the ability to do that pain-free, we obviously risk setting him back, which would be very, very unfortunate with the time lost already. But also giving him the best chance to go out there and have success is ultimately, what we're looking for. I really, having to overcome certain things, that's kind of been the story of our season. If you look at it for JJ, I mean, whether it's, early on in the Chicago game, we just didn't have a great all-11 feel to our execution. Then we did late in the game and had a bunch of success and won that game. And then clearly the circumstances involved in week 2 made it less than ideal from a standpoint of preparing a guy to play in a football game. So, and now you have the injury as part of it. No, it's not going to need to be something where he's 130%, or we're being, in a situation where we're waiting for this metric that, quite honestly, with this kind of injury, he's got to work through some of that here late in the rehab stages, but it's about his effectiveness and his ability to go out and do his job for 60 minutes without having any setbacks or making his job more difficult than it has to be.
Kevin, are you weak at center? Blake still there now?
Yeah, I think Jergs is continuing to. He was available and ready to go, and I feel like we're giving both those guys some reps this week, and we'll go with what we think is the best 5 for the game for sure.
Where's Carson with his health just coming out of Sunday?
Yeah, it was a physical game. Obviously, he competed his tail off to the very end and was able to steal us some first downs and take some hits, on some of those plays, as well as some of the, against a good interior front. He took some hits as well. He was sore, but I've been really encouraged by, how fast he turned over and really didn't, have, any more setbacks or anything other than the normal soreness after a physical game like that. So he had already had a great walkthrough, and we'll continue to progress throughout this very, very short week to get him and all of our guys ready to go after what was a physical game on Sunday.
What is the key to turning over?
Yeah.
What is the key to turning over so quickly from a Sunday to a Thursday?
Well, I think a lot of it is, the resources we have both. I mean, we had guys immediately from the time I broke down the team starting to do something we're blessed to have the facilities we do at US Bank Stadium. And then yesterday was about getting them in, trying to flush out whatever we could with some movement, a lift, massages. I think every player on our team, either got one or had one available to them here in-house. And then we were able to kind of, meet mentally, kind of absorb what we needed to improve from the game, and then get ready to start moving. And you're not flushing it from a standpoint of forgetting what happened on Sunday, but at the same time you've got to move forward and prepare for a really good team, while knowing there's some things that we could have easily, in our control, done better in the football game on Sunday against a good team to have a chance to win. I don't think anybody on our team, staff or player, didn't leave US Bank Stadium knowing that there's a lot to build off of, in a game that did not go our way. Results did not go our way, but if you look at it from a standpoint of a lot of the positive things that were done, and then the correctable things that were clearly on the tape, and things for both players and coaches, we're encouraged, and that's what sometimes a short week can give you, is a chance to take some of that and put it into action.
Think back to evaluating Justin Herbert pre-draft. What stands out the most to you about just the arc that he's had.
Yeah, I think he's big, he's strong, he's very athletic. I still don't know if he gets enough credit for his athleticism. I mean, the mobility in Justin's game is real. He can hurt you in the pocket with elite arm strength and accuracy, but then he can clearly make plays with his legs and create to give them extended opportunities at plays down the field and staying on the field, moving the chains. And we know they want to run the football. We know they want to do a lot of things off of that run game, but the pass game and the weapons they have, both the guys that are known guys, and they've got some guys really emerging as well on that offensive side, getting some real opportunities. So I just remember seeing a guy that in that kind of spread no huddle system at Oregon, you could still see a player with the skill set that would really fit any NFL offense, and that's absolutely become an accurate statement. Not only where he's at, but I think he's still an ascending player as well. He's a very, very impressive player.
I mean, the return game's not great, but it's obviously improved.
Yeah.
What does Miles Price give you that maybe you didn't have before?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of Miles has, and we noticed this very early, Mark, you've got to have the ability to make somebody miss at the first level. And what I mean by that is you can block up your hold-up guys in the punt return or the schematics of the dynamic kickoff. You can get some things started, but it's normally to get them over the line of just a decent return for somewhat good field position to, like he did in the second half the other day, get you near midfield or beyond. It's going to require him to make somebody miss or make a cut, make a change of direction move that will give him a chance to then restart the engines and hopefully have a chance to take it the distance. He's been able to flip the field on some punt returns that have been huge in some moments, and a couple of those have been called back via penalty that were, bang, bang, close plays. But, I think he's been a real positive for us and what has become with what we're all learning in the dynamic kickoff, the field position battle, even the subtle change that has been made to so many more balls getting returned. The starting field position has moved forward. All you need is one first down, and then you're essentially almost in a sky punt backed up situation, so I think things are evolving and changing due to what we're seeing, not only in the dynamic kickoff, but then how the field position affects the type of punts and return ops you're going to have in that phase as well.
And then the low number of fair catches, is that something you guys encourage, or is that his personality?
It's decision making from a standpoint of his trust in the 10 guys in front of him, but then also he's just got a confidence and a belief. It takes a certain kind of individual to go back there, and you're on an island back there. These punters are wildly talented, putting the ball where they want, and different types of spin and rotation on the ball. He's caught the ball very well, and then he feels like he's got the ability to change a game every time he touches it, which is the type of characteristic you want in a guy that's going to go back there.
Kevin, what chance does Aaron Jones have to go Thursday night?
He's a guy that you don't need to really kind of get out there and test too much, because in his rehab and the work he's done on the side fields, he's a veteran player. He knows what he has to do. He knows what he needs to feel like, and then we'll be smart with Aaron. But at the same time, we know he's here for a reason, and we know what he can bring to our offense. So we'll see how he responds. He's gonna, because he didn't play on Sunday, he can do a little bit more either with the trainers or side work in conjunction with what he's doing in the walkthrough to mentally prepare to kind of figure out where he'll be at on Thursday.
Thanks, everyone. Locker room is open.
Thank you.
Whoops. Having a iceberg lettuce salad with some cauliflower and some sirloin steak. Sorry about that. Oh, now I got to turn down my microphone. Hold on. I got the speaker up.
Yeah, I was just going to run in there. Speaker's too loud.
Well, it wasn't, because my microphone was on, so it was in a good spot so I could hear him, because I don't like to wear my headset when it's not necessary, because you wear a headset for 40 years in radio and it starts to affect your hearing. I've told you what I plan to do once I'm fired, which is inevitable. I just don't know when it's going to be. I'm going to file a class action lawsuit and get all other disc jockeys together with me, and I'm going to sue all the companies I worked for and say, because I was forced to wear headsets for all those years, it's damaged my hearing. And I'll get to court and They'll call me to the witness stand. They'll say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so some semblance of the truth, so help me God? And I'll go, I beg your pardon. Case closed, I win, right? Could you repeat that? And I'll make millions of dollars is what I'll do. Well, again, I think this is, I think everybody's waiting to hear who will start at quarterback. It will once again be Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Apparently, McCarthy went through some drills today at the TCO Performance Center practice facility, and just not quite there yet, to me. Just not quite there. And on a short week, with the game just 2 days away, they've decided that J.J. McCarthy will serve as the emergency quarterback again. Carson Wentz will start. Max Brosmer will be the backup quarterback. And it really doesn't come as a surprise to me, nor does it to you, I don't think.
No.
I suppose it's possible had, I know there's a theory out there, and I think maybe you even espouse it, if that's the right word. No, you have espoused. I think you believe that it might be like, what did you call it? Like a soft injury? Or
a soft bench?
A soft bench. In other words, It's like, it's almost convenient that he has a tweaked ankle, because then you go, just not ready, because you really look at his performance in those first two games, and other than the one quarter, you go, gosh, if we're still trying to win football games here, I know we want to eventually turn the team over to him, but we have an older roster, and we're coming up a 14-win season, and I thought we could win with him right away. I thought with all the pieces we had in place, we could, because I feel like and the coach has said he thinks he's good at coaching up quarterbacks. We could coach him up, and maybe we can win some games. Maybe they still feel that way. Again, there's always going to be some highs and lows when a kid is starting at quarterback. There's just been so many lows here that maybe they decided, well, we got to play this out with Wentz at least for a couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks, see where we're at. And if we lose to the Chargers on the road and Wentz isn't very good, well, then, what the hell?
Now, let's say Wentz has a first half similar to his first half against Philadelphia.
Okay.
2 bad interceptions. Could we see Brosmer at some point Thursday night? Do they want to go, hey, if we got to see what we got, let's take a look at him before we go back to JJ?
Yeah, I suppose.
Is that possible?
I suppose it's possible. I mean, everything they've said about Brosmer, and he played some in the preseason, correct?
Yeah.
And
played well in the preseason.
And he played pretty well. So it's like, and it is, at the end of the day, it is just football, and it's like, well, if you are planning to keep Brosmer, look, if it all works out, McCarthy will be starting in the next few weeks. They might even tell Wentz, hey, it was great, but we're moving on, and, turn in your playbook and just go with Brosmer number 2 and find another quarterback. They could, I don't think so, but you know what I'm saying? I think Brosmer is more in the long-term plans than Wentz is.
Sure. So
maybe if you do plan to keep Brosmer on the team as your backup quarterback, you probably would like to see him get some action. So, it's distinctly possible. I think the way you spelled it out, if Wentz struggles against San Diego on Thursday night, the second half, you could see Max Brosmer. I know we can see Mark Rosen. We're going to see him next here on the Common Man program on The Fan.